And this morning, Attorney General William Barr is getting set to testify on Capitol Hill this upcoming Tuesday. His appearance comes as lawmakers eagerly await his redacted version of the Mueller report, expected in the coming weeks. This amid escalating criticism from Democrats. They are now calling Barr's summary of the report into question, pushing for the entire report to be made public. Joining me right now is the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Republican Congressman from California, Devin Nunes, joins us from the World Ag Expo in California this morning. Congressman Nunes was one of the first to cast doubt on the Russian collusion narrative. He has been working 2 years to uncover and expose it. He recently penned an op-ed in the Washington Examiner titled "The Russian Collusion Hoax Meets an Unbelievable End." And Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Great to be with you again.
Look, this is the first time you and I are talking on this program. I spoke with you last week, I know, on Mornings with Maria on the Fox Business Network. But this is the first time we are talking after the conclusion of the no collusion from the special counsel and from the AG. Congratulations. You ought to be taking a victory lap here, Congressman. You've been trying to expose all of this for the last 2 years, coming on this program every several weeks to talk about it. How you doing after this?
I'm doing well, and I just want to thank you also for your show, because you're one of the few shows that actually let members of Congress and others come on and actually get into the meat of the details. So I would say that your investigative journalism has been great on this, Maria. And there's still more work to do. And, you know, there's no really time for victory laps because, you know, people have to be held accountable for this nonsense.
That's absolutely right. And that's what our viewers want to know. Where is the accountability? You wrote this op-ed in the Washington Examiner, "The Russian Collusion Hoax Meets Unbelievable End," where you really laid out exactly how this started and how the Clinton campaign paid for a dirty dossier, which was then penetrated throughout our government, throughout the media, to keep this narrative alive and put a cloud under a duly elected president for 2 years.
Yeah, and I would also say this is kind of a strange situation where you have McCarthyism, like new McCarthyism, that merged with Watergate wannabes. So you had unbelievable leaks that occurred across all levels of our government. You had all sorts of reporters. 90% of the press essentially was in on this. It started by dirtying up a presidential candidate, and then it went on to dirtying up a president. And you had a bunch of, I think, people within FBI, DOJ, we don't know exactly where, but they're like the wannabe, the next Deep Throat, the person who's leaking classified information for the betterment of all society. But in this case, it just got completely out of hand, and we've had unbelievable disclosures of classified information. And this is why we've been working so hard for 2.5 years, waiting for a real Attorney General, which we have now, an Attorney General Barr. A grown-up is finally in the room, and which is why we're prepared to do a lot of cleanup here.
Let's talk about that cleanup and what comes next, because we want to get into where the law was broken. You are going to come out with a list of referrals, and you told me you are ready to hand this over to the AG this upcoming week. What can you tell us about this list of referrals and about the referral of criminal conduct that you are about to release, sir?
So we've been working on this for 2.5 years, compiling information, right, as we've continued this investigation. We couldn't really send these criminal referrals over without an Attorney General in place. So we're prepared this week to notify the Attorney General that we're prepared to send those referrals over and brief him if he wishes to be briefed. We think they're pretty clear. But as of right now, this may not be all of them, but this cleans up quite a bit. We have 8 referrals that we're prepared to send over to the Attorney General this week.
All right, so you've got 8 referrals that you're going to send over to the AG this week. Go through those referrals. These are criminal referrals. 2 of them I know are about conspiracy. What can you tell us? Tell us as much as you can in terms of breaking this news this morning that you are prepared to send over 8 criminal referrals next week. What are they, Congressman?
So I would say that, first of all of these are classified or sensitive, and so because a lot of them could contain sensitive or classified information. 5 of them are what I would call straight-up referrals, so just referrals that name someone and name the specific crimes. Those crimes are lying to Congress, misleading Congress, leaking classified information. So 5 of them are those types. There are 3 that I think are more complicated. So you mentioned conspiracy. So The question on conspiracy is what, there's the conspiracy statute, and then what do they need to look at under that statute? So on the first one is FISA abuse and other matters. We believe there was a conspiracy to lie to the FISA court, mislead the FISA court by numerous individuals that all need to be investigated and looked at, and we believe the statute is the conspiracy statute. The second conspiracy one is involving manipulation of intelligence. That also could ensnarl many Americans. And so that's kind of the second one. As you know, we've had a lot of concerns with the way intelligence was used. So that would be kind of the two conspiracy recommendations, referrals that we're making. The third is what I would call a global leak referral. So there are about a dozen highly sensitive, classified information leaks that were given to only a few reporters over the last 2.5+ years. So, we don't know if there's actually been any leak investigations that have been opened, but we do believe that we've got pretty good information and a pretty good idea of who could be behind these leaks. It doesn't mean we know all the people that are behind the leaks, because when you read these, a lot of these, they're always anonymous sources. And they always say something to the effect of current and former senior officials. So we think we've got a pretty good idea of who some of the sources are behind these leaks. We don't know if the Department of Justice has been looking at these, but there's just been unprecedented things have happened, and I'll just close with this. You had conversations with the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Australia leak. You had leaks of the President Trump talking to the Mexican president leak. We all know the travesty of General Flynn. Nobody knows where those supposed transcripts came from. So those are just kind of three examples that are absolutely horrific. But there's things that are even worse that were leaked, and there's only a couple, 2 or 3 reporters involved in this, and so it wouldn't be hard to get to the bottom of. But you've got to. So we're prepared to make those 8 referrals this week. So the 2 on conspiracy, the 1 on global leaks, and then 5 that are more specific on lying, leaking, and misleading Congress.
Explain to our audience what criminal referral means, because we've been talking about this as well for 2 years, and our audience wants to know where the accountability is. We already know that there was a criminal referral to Andrew McCabe, the number 2 guy at the FBI. So where does that stand? What does that mean that he was criminally referred? He's out on a book tour. So, viewers are saying, well, okay, he was criminally referred, but he's still on his book tour. So what does that really mean for accountability?
I think it's a great question, because people get so frustrated. As I am all over, go around the United States of America and in my district, people are frustrated. They're like, why can't you do anything? People have to understand there's 3 branches of government. We're the legislative branch. We don't strap on guns and bring handcuffs out to the crime scene. All we can do is investigate. We can take information from folks. We can interview people. And as everyone knows, that's what we've been doing for 2.5 years. But we don't have the power to arrest or convict. So we have to take these criminal referrals to the Department of Justice with all the information, all the work that we've done. Ask the Department of Justice to take these up. And look, maybe the Department of Justice already has investigations open.